Okay, let's talk about the future of digital marketing. If you've ever felt like you need a secret decoder ring just to understand the latest buzzwords, well, you are definitely in the right place. Have you ever been in one of those meetings where someone's just firing off acronyms left and right and you're just sitting there nodding along, praying nobody asks you a direct question? Yeah, that feeling is pretty much universal in the wild world of marketing. It honestly feels like alphabet soup, right? You've got SEO, SEM, AI, geotargeting, and now Google's throwing EEAT at us. The ground is just constantly shifting under our feet. What worked yesterday is more often than not totally outdated today. But that's exactly why we're here. We are going to cut right through all that noise, simplify the jargon, and give you a really clear, actionable guide to the strategies that are actually defining success right now. So let's dive right in with marketing's new reality. Because to even begin to figure out where we're going, we first have to get a handle on the huge shifts happening as we speak. At its absolute core, digital marketing is really simple. It's just about using the internet to promote stuff. But that simple idea, it's become unbelievably complex because the internet itself has completely transformed. And that means the strategies that built massive brands back in the 2010s, they're just not going to cut it anymore. The entire game has been reshaped by three powerful, interconnected forces that are driving, well, everything. So what are they? First, you've got the rise of AI, which is making hyper-personalization possible on a scale we've literally never seen before. Second, there's this huge public demand for privacy, which has led to new rules and the death of old tracking methods. And third, people they're tired of slick, perfect ads. They're demanding authenticity and a real, genuine connection. And that brings us to the end of an era, really, all driven by that demand for privacy. We're talking about the very foundation of digital advertising for the last 2 decades, data. You see, for years, marketers relied on these things called third-party cookies to follow you around the web. But as browsers like Safari, Firefox, and soon Google get rid of them, that whole model is officially broken. This isn't some far-off future. More than half the web is already living in this new reality. So what's replacing it? Something called first-party data. And the difference is actually simple, but it's profound. Think of it this way. Third-party data was like secretly following a stranger around the mall and taking notes. Kind of creepy, right? First-party data is like having a friendly conversation with a customer in your own store. It's information they choose to give you. So building a strategy around this isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential for survival. It all starts with setting clear goals for what you want to learn, being totally transparent with your customers to build that trust, understanding every single touch point on their journey, and then, of course, using the right tools to manage it all. Okay, so once you have that incredibly valuable first-party data, what's the goal? Well, this question brings us right to a classic debate in marketing, a real tug of war between two very different approaches. On one side, you have brand marketing. This is all about creating future demand. It's the slow burn, building awareness, building trust. On the other side, you've got performance marketing, which is laser-focused on converting the demand that exists right now through stuff you can measure, like clicks and sales. So why do these two essential functions so often end up at odds with each other? Well, it usually comes down to a few key things. Performance teams are often measured by last-click attribution, which basically gives all the credit to the very last ad someone clicked. It completely ignores all the brand building that made them want to click in the first place. You add different timelines and totally different creative goals to the mix, and what you get is a really disjointed experience for the customer. But here's the thing. The modern winning consensus is that they're not competitors at all. They're two parts of the exact same growth system. A strong brand makes every single performance ad work better. It just does. It leads to more clicks, better conversion rates, and lower costs. One fuels the other. It's a loop. So how do you actually put this all together, this integrated approach? Let's take a look at the modern playbook and see what good actually looks like today. Rule number 1 of the new playbook is understanding that the way people find information has fundamentally changed. Search engines aren't just a big list of websites anymore. No way. They're incredibly sophisticated, AI-driven engines that understands meaning, context, and what you're actually trying to do. And what that means is that the old SEO trick of just stuffing a keyword into a page over and over again, it's dead. The new SEO is all about creating what are called topic clusters. Basically, it's building a whole library of content that covers a subject from every possible angle. This is how you prove you're a real expert and build authority in the eyes of an AI. And you can see this new playbook in action with brands that are absolutely crushing it. I mean, look at Hilton's 10-minute long TikTok. It completely defied what everyone thought worked on the platform and connected with Gen Z. Or Dove's campaign, which tackled a real social issue to build trust. And who can forget Dippin' Dots using humor and speed to turn a PR nightmare into a massive viral win? And the results of doing this well, they are undeniable. Just look at the partnership between Heinz and Absolute. Their vodka-infused pasta sauce wasn't just some weird gimmick. It was brilliant brand marketing. It tapped into nostalgia and social media trends, which then directly fueled performance, leading to a jaw-dropping 52% increase in sales. Wow, okay, we have covered a ton of ground, from data and high-level strategy all the way to what it looks like on the ground. Now, let's bring it all home and distill this down to what it means for you and your strategic advantage. With all these massive changes swirling around, AI, privacy, these new consumer expectations, how do you actually build a real, lasting advantage? Well, it really boils down to just a few core principles. First, you have to own your data. That means building that first-party strategy we talked about. Second, stop the internal battles and integrate your brand and performance teams into one cohesive system. Third, be authentic and nimble enough to create stuff that genuinely connects with people. And finally, you have to start thinking in terms of broad topics, not just narrow keywords, to build true, unshakable authority. And really, that brings us to the single most important takeaway from all of this. For all the talk about AI and algorithms and analytics, the future of marketing doesn't actually depend on technology. It hinges on something much, much more human: trust. In a world that's getting noisier and more skeptical by the day, the brands that win will be the ones that earn it.